I am speaking to you now because your heart has been carrying a weight that words cannot explain, and I do not want you to mistake silence for indifference or distance for abandonment. Hear me as if the wind itself were placing letters into your hands. Hear me as if the air around your face were a living whisper. Hear me as if the room where you sit were suddenly filled with a warmth that does not come from the sun. I have seen the tears you tucked into the corners of your eyes and pretended were dust. I have seen the way you pressed a smile onto your mouth so the world would not suspect the storm inside, and I have seen the name that rises in your chest at night like a flare you wish you could hide. I am not revealing this to punish you. I am revealing it so you are not blindsided by the very mercy that is approaching you like a tide. Listen, the person you love deeply will never be the same again after what happened last night. The world shifted for them while you were still trying to make sense of your day, and there are ripples moving through their spirit that will arrive at your shore soon. Everyone around them already senses it, their friends, their colleagues, even the walls that overheard their confession when they thought they were alone. A boundary broke. A mask slid off. A secret fell from their hands and shattered into pieces the way a glass slips from wet fingers and explodes into tiny stars on the floor. What they lost was the shield they hid behind, the stubbornness that kept them distant, the false comfort that convinced them they could outrun what is true. It is gone. It cannot be repaired in the way it once was. And because of this, you must be prepared to meet a version of them you have never seen before. Do not be afraid of this change. You have prayed for clarity. This is clarity arriving in a form you may not recognize at first. You asked me for the truth to surface. Truth has its own clock, and that clock struck last night. I saw the moment their pride punctured. I saw the moment their resolve to stay far from you collapsed under the weight of their own longing and regret. They did not simply cry, they collided with themselves. They did not simply confess, they finally ran out of room to pretend. Do not imagine this is weakness. It is the first strong thing they have done in a long time, and even though it looks like breaking, breaking is sometimes the most honest way of being remade. You have been waiting on a sign that is not vague, not symbolic, not hidden behind riddles, and I am giving you one now. Prepare your heart to meet new language from a familiar mouth. Prepare your ears to hear, "I am sorry," from lips that used to say, "I don't care." Prepare your days to hold interruptions that look like inconvenience and are secretly opportunities, like a sudden message at an odd hour, a pause in their voice where there used to be arrogance, "Can we talk?" from someone who used to end everything with, "I'm busy." When these happen, do not rush to punish them with silence. You are not a courtroom. You are a soul I have been training for mercy, not to be trampled but to be trustworthy. There is a difference. I have not forgotten the nights you asked me if love was only a lesson in loss. I have not missed the mornings when you touched your chest and asked if the ache would be a permanent tenant. I do not despise your confusion. You felt overlooked and you began to wonder if I had put you on a shelf while I tended to more glamorous prayers. That is not what happened. I was working on a door you could not see, a door that required both of you to arrive at the same hinge at the same time. If I had opened it sooner, one of you would have walked through while the other would have stood staring at the frame, unready, and bitterness would have grown like mold in the corner. I do not write tragedies for sport. I am authoring a shift designed to heal not just now but what has led up to now, and even what will follow if you two are wise. Let me tell you plainly what last night took. It took their indifference. It took the numbness they wore as armor. It took the double life of wanting you and pretending they didn't. It took the illusion that they could keep risking your peace and still go to sleep without consequence. It took the whispering counsel of those who fed their ego for entertainment and kept them busy so they would not feel the vacancy in their chest. It took the false victory of winning arguments and forfeiting intimacy. It took the lie that stubborn people are strong people. It was not an accident. It was a mercy with sharp edges, and it cut them free. You will notice small holy accidents now. A song in a shop that speaks like it was written from your diary. A number repeating on a clock as if timing were waving both of you forward. A stranger's phrase that feels like a note addressed to your exact fear. Do not worship signs, but notice them. They are breadcrumbs along a path you have been hesitant to trust. Your hesitation is understandable. You have touched hot stoves and learned to keep your hands behind your back. But I am training you to hold again, not as a child desperate for any flame, but as a keeper of fire who knows how to warm without being burned. I do not want you to rescue them from the work they must do. Love is not the art of preventing growth through comfort. Love is the art of creating a climate where growth can be honest. They will reach for you and I want you to answer, but not with the old script. The old script was written under fear. Fear dramatizes everything and simplifies nothing. Speak from the centered place I have been building inside you. Ask them what they are willing to do, not simply what they feel. Ask them how they will protect this connection when their old habits come knocking like familiar thieves. Ask them not for promises but for plans. This is not a test to make them fail, it is a path to help both of you succeed. I am removing the pressure you silently placed on yourself to be perfect so this does not break. You do not need to hold your breath around them anymore. You do not need to perform calm while your stomach tightens. You can be honest without being harsh. You can be clear without being cold. I will help you. When you do not know what to say, breathe and then say a true sentence. True sentences do not need fancy clothes, they arrive like clean water. That hurt me. I am willing to try. I need consistency. I forgive you, but trust will be rebuilt over time. I want us to learn to do this right. Let these be your offerings, not daggers. You are not at war anymore with a ghost version of them, you are meeting the one a breaking night has humbled. There will be voices around you who prefer your confusion. They fed on the drama of your uncertainty like spectators at a coliseum. They will tell you change is impossible. They will roll their eyes at apologies. They will say, people don't really change, as if their cynicism were wisdom instead of scar tissue. Do not follow them back into a small world. Cynicism feels like control, but it is only fear with expensive vocabulary. Hope takes courage. Hope makes room. Hope is not naivete with pretty lighting. It is the practiced habit of believing that what I touch can be transformed. I am touching this. I am touching you. I am touching them. Hope is the honest name for what is happening. You are also allowed to set boundaries that are living fences, not prison walls. A living fence breathes. A living fence lets light through. A living fence says, we protect what we value. You are not weak for needing rhythm. You are not controlling for asking for presence. You are not clingy for wanting reassurance in the tender after. Two frightened people need a plan, or they will build disasters out of assumptions. So plan simple things: when to talk, how to pause when the conversation heats, how to revisit old pains without building altars to them, how to apologize without theater, how to forgive without forgetting what was learned. This is not unromantic. It is the scaffolding for a safe house. Do not mistake the trembling in your hands for a bad omen. Trembling is what muscles do when they are learning new weight. You are learning to carry joy without bracing for its loss. You are learning to stand without scripting every possible catastrophe. You are learning to accept a gift without scrutinizing the wrapping paper for reasons to refuse it. Receive what I am shaping. It does not dishonor your pain to accept my comfort. It honors your pain to let it become instruction instead of identity. There is something else I want you to know. The reason I am telling you this with urgency is not to turn this into a countdown laced with panic, but because hesitation can become a habit that sabotages good days. You have been taught by disappointment to delay your yes until it is too late. Not this time. When the call comes, answer it. When the message arrives, read it. When the meeting is proposed, choose a time. When your body tries to sprint ahead of your spirit, breathe and ask me to pace you. I will. I am not throwing you into the deep end to watch you flail. I am walking beside you into a water that now knows your name. Understand, last night's earthquake in their heart was also a release valve for yours. You have been holding back tears like a dam, and the pressure has been loud in your head. I am lowering the waterline. You will find yourself crying at unexpected tendernesses, a hand on your back, a sentence said right the first time, an ordinary day without the threat of eruption. Let these tears travel. They are not backward steps, they are the body exhaling a season of hypervigilance. Treat your tenderness with reverence. You have survived not just what happened to you, but the person you had to become to survive it. Now I am giving you permission to become someone safer to yourself. If you fear you are being naive, bring me that fear every morning like a small stone, and I will show you whether it belongs in the foundation or in the river. Some stones must be laid, some must be released. Wisdom is not the absence of risk but the presence of me within it. I have walked you through nights that taught you how to hear me even when the room is quiet. Trust that now. I am not asking you to trust them blindly, I am asking you to trust me clearly. I will give you nudges so gentle you might mistake them for your own thoughts, the sense to pause before answering, the idea to ask one more question, the joy that bubbles up when truth is near, the unease that rises when old patterns sneak back in with new costumes. Listen. I will be faithful in the whisper. You may worry that if you open your hands you will lose yourself. You will not. You are not disappearing, you are returning. The version of you that laughs easily, the one who hums while cooking, the one who answers the door without rehearsing 8 possible outcomes, that one is not a fantasy. They are the true you, freed from the shadow of dread. I am not restoring you to who you were before the pain, I am growing you into who you could only become because you walked through it. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Not even the nights you wish had never been. I will protect you as this unfolds. Protection does not mean silence on your part, it means alignment with me. Say no to the old games. Say yes to honest repair. Forgive quickly but not cheaply. Do not catalog wrongs like a scholar of sorrow, write mercies instead, count them out loud if you must, share them with the mirror when no one else is there to hear. Your words have been used to brace against disaster, now let them build shelter. Speak life over your days, I am safe to love. I choose clarity over chaos. I am allowed to be happy without apology. These are not slogans, they are permissions I have already signed for you. There will be a moment soon when you look into their eyes and see a softness that startles you. Do not look away. Meet it. This is where the old story ends without fanfare and the new story begins without drumroll. Quiet beginnings are often the most durable. Remember that last night was not simply an ending for them, it was a funeral for a false self. Let the incense of that passing clear the air. Give each other a little ceremony without the dramatics, 2 people telling truth, 2 people making room, 2 people choosing to be students of each other rather than judges. If you do this, the peace that settles will not be fragile. It will have roots. I am with you now, in the room where you read this. The air is not empty, it is held. Your future is not a cliff, it is a path with light enough for the next faithful step. You will not miss what is meant for you when you are listening to me. The person you love deeply will stand before you soon with the evidence of last night written across their voice and their posture, and you will know that what I told you is not a poet's trick but a father's truth. Do not try to skip this moment out of habit. Do not outrun your own blessing. Be present in the arrival you prayed for, even if it looks different from the movie in your head. It is better this way, less spectacle, more substance. And if fear rises at the last minute like a hand asking for the final word, let your heart answer with this: I have not brought you all this way to abandon you at the threshold. Step forward. Speak plainly. Listen deeply. Hold gently. And remember, what was lost last night was only what could not love you well. What remains, and what is being born, is love that has finally told the truth. I speak to you now with a nearness that settles on your skin like warm light, with a certainty that steadies the places inside you that trembled through the night. Breathe, beloved. Place your hand over your heart and notice that it still knows my rhythm. Even when your thoughts scatter, even when your memory tries to reassemble a picture that has already changed, your heart recognizes me. I am not far. I am not delayed. I am not guessing. I am here, and what I say to you will stand when every rumor, every whisper, and every fear falls away like dust after the wind passes. Listen and allow what I say to fill the room around you, the doorway where you stand, the hallway you cross, the chair where you sit. I am filling your minutes with meaning again. I am resetting the clock that others tried to rush. I am lifting the weight that kept you bowed, and I am calling you into a steadiness that does not depend on the willingness of another or the noise of the crowd. I am your certainty. I am your calm. I am your shelter, your strong ground, your living water. What happened last night will not vanish at sunrise as if it were a stray dream. Many will pretend they did not see, many will pretend they do not know, and some will try to rewrite what occurred, but I am not confused. I watched the moment it turned. I watched pride split like old wood, and I saw the hidden doors inside them swing open and the lights go on. You love this person, and you have carried the weight of misunderstanding like a stone folded into your chest. You kept hoping the right sentence would unlock them, that the right gesture would unfreeze them, that the right timing would finally be the hour they said what your heart begged to hear. But when the hour came, it arrived without trumpets. It arrived like a soft click in the dark, and the old shape of things came apart under its own silence. Everyone except you knows that last night something was lost and cannot be gathered back into the old container. They lost their mask. They lost their practiced detour. They lost the freedom to pretend that your life is a background hum. They lost the grip of their old story about love, about safety, about control. They lost the covering of the excuses that used to shield them from the labor of truth. Do not treat this like a small draft under a closed door. The weather changed. The room changed. The map changed. The old coordinates no longer point where they used to point, and they feel it, even if they try to stand casually as if the ground did not tilt. The person you love will never be the same again after this incident, and that is not a threat to you, it is a mercy. It is me, moving in the unseen, rearranging the furniture of the heart, pulling down curtains that kept the room dim, and opening a window they kept shut for years. When a heart changes, it changes by loss first, loss of the lie, loss of the numbing, loss of the detour that kept them from the table where truth is served warm. They are tasting the air that truth brings. The first breath is unsteady. The second breath is new. The third breath is surrender beginning to take shape. I know you have stood with brave patience. I know you have cried where no one else could see, and I know how many times you told yourself to stop caring, to stop imagining, to stop believing. I heard you say to me, if this remains fog, teach me to stop reaching. And I did not scold you. I did not measure you by your strength on your weakest day. I held the thread of your courage while your hands felt empty. I filled the silence with a promise too quiet for the loud rooms and loud people. I wrote my vow into the bones of your days so that when you thought you had lost it, you could still stand and feel it inside you. You are not forsaken. I have not left you in a hallway of delays. I am untangling years in hours, I am untying knots in minutes, I am visiting the hidden place where they hid from themselves and from you. Do not rush to label this with a small name. Do not rush to close the book before the next page dries in the light. This is not payback and it is not punishment, it is awakening. They are stepping through a doorway they swore they would never touch. They are hearing their own voice tell the truth they would not let you hold. This will not be a performance for the crowd. It will not be fireworks. It will be the slow honesty that does not need to shout. Watch how confession is born in them like first light taking the edge of the horizon. Watch how the wind that once drove them away turns quiet in their lungs. Do not confuse quiet with nothing. Quiet is where I do my finest work. You heard many reports, but you did not know what to trust. You felt many changes in the air, but you did not know whether to brace yourself or open your arms. Beloved, let me be your instruction. Be soft with yourself and firm about your worth. Be gentle with your own heart and clear about your boundaries. I am not asking you to forget what hurt. I am not asking you to call dark light. I am asking you to let me lead the sequence. Timing is a gate I hold with my own hand. If I open it, no one can shut it. If I close it, no one can shove their way through. Rest your shoulder in this. You do not have to force what I am already guiding. There are people around you who will call this nothing, and there are people around you who will call this everything. You will not be commanded by their measure. Anchor yourself in mine. I am not hasty, and I am not cruel. I do not barter affection for obedience. I loved you before you stood upright, before you learned the names of your fears, before the years that taught you to brace yourself at every threshold. Even now, while their heart softens, I am holding yours so it does not harden. You are not required to bleed to prove that you love. You are not required to be a door with no lock. Love can stand with boundaries and still be love. Mercy can speak in a clear voice and still be mercy. I want to tell you something about last night that you could not have seen from where you stood. When the old story broke, it made no sound in the room, but it was loud in the spirit. I saw a hand unclench. I saw a memory loosen its chokehold. I saw an agreement with fear crumble like dry bread. I saw a sentence stop halfway and the tongue could not complete the lie that once came easy. The part of them that hid from your eyes stood in a brighter place for the first time in years. They felt it as a sudden, aching emptiness, because when the mask falls, the face is cold in the open air for a moment. Do not mistake their quiet for absence. They are standing still because the wind of change is strong. What do I require of you now? Hold the posture of one who knows their worth rests in my hands. Hold the posture of one who can receive, not out of hunger that will take anything, but out of peace that recognizes good fruit. Do not chase. Do not orchestrate. Do not attempt to compress the story into a single day because your heart fears long paths. I am not afraid of time. I command time. I redeem time. I restore the years that felt stolen, and I do not restore with replicas, I restore with more. When I give you back what you thought had gone, I do not return it damaged and half-lit. I return it refined, clean, and anchored in truth. There is a message you need to hear and remember each time your mind tries to run. I have already stepped into the hour you dread. I have already visited the conversation you fear. I have already filled your future with provisions you cannot see from here. I am addressing the corners of their heart that could not be reached by debate or emotion or charm. I am correcting the compass that led them away, and I am doing it without humiliating them in front of the crowd. I am a better teacher than shame. I am a better healer than panic. I am a better builder than anxious hands arranging furniture in the dark. You will notice small signs first, like the quiet way they listen without defending, like the careful way they speak without performing, like the steady way they meet your eyes and do not glance over your shoulder to see who else is watching. You will notice patience where there was haste, and clarity where there was fog. You will notice a willingness to ask for forgiveness without turning the apology into a maze you must navigate. You will notice the word "we" returning to a mouth that only knew "I." When you see these things, do not rush to reward or to test, simply receive them like morning light on your table. I am the gardener and I know the pace of growth. You are the field I take joy in. Let me nourish it.